Hi, how are you all? Welcome to today's chemistry class. In the last class, we have discussed about the physical properties of metals and non-metals. In this video, we can discuss about the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. What do you mean by this chemical properties? Chemical properties means the reaction of these metals and non-metals with other elements or chemicals. That is what is meant by their chemical properties. So the first chemical property we have to study is the reaction of metals and non-metals with oxygen. What will happen if these metals and non-metals are reacting with oxygen? We know that any substance, if it is combining with oxygen, will form its oxide. For example, when we are burning magnesium ribbon in air, that magnesium is combining with oxygen present in the atmosphere and forming magnesium oxide, isn't it? Like that when we are burning carbon, it is also combining with oxygen and forming carbon dioxide. So like this, any substance when we are burning or when it is reacting with oxygen, forming its oxide. So like this, metals also reacting with oxygen, forming metallic oxides. For example, already we have seen magnesium, it is a metal. When it is reacting with oxygen, forming magnesium oxide. Like that, sodium is another metal. When it is reacting with oxygen, forming sodium oxide. Then potassium, it is another metal reacting with oxygen, forming potassium oxide. So all these metals are reacting with oxygen and forming their oxides. So the general equation we can write like this, that is metal plus oxygen gives metal oxide. Okay. Most of the metal oxides we are getting are insoluble in water, but some of them are soluble in water. For example, sodium oxide or potassium oxide. They are dissolving in water and we are getting an alkali. When sodium oxide is dissolving in water, we will get sodium hydroxide, that is an alkali. Like that, when potassium oxide is dissolving in water, we will get potassium hydroxide, that is also an alkali. Since we are getting an alkali, we can tell that these metal oxides are basic or alkaline in nature. Okay, so generally we can tell that all metal oxides are alkaline or basic in nature. And since these metal oxides are basic in nature, they can react with acids and forming salt and water. Metal oxides, they are basic in nature, so they can react with an acid forming salt and water. Okay, but there are two metal oxides, that is aluminium oxide and zinc oxide. They can react with acid as well as base.
For example, aluminium oxide. It can react with hydrochloric acid forming aluminium chloride and water. Like that, it can react with sodium hydroxide, which is a base, to form sodium aluminate and water.
What does it mean? These metal oxides show both basic character and acidic character. That is why it is reacting with an acid and a base. So, two metal oxides are there, that is aluminium oxide and zinc oxide. They are showing both acidic and basic character. And such metal oxides are known as amphoteric oxides. So, the amphoteric oxides means the metal oxides which can react with acid as well as base to form salt and water. And examples for amphoteric oxides are aluminium oxide and zinc oxide. All other metal oxides are basic in nature. They can react only with acids. Since they are basic, they are reacting with acids. Okay. But amphoteric oxides can react with acid as well as base. That means they are showing both basic and acidic character. Clear that? Now, we have studied that metals are reacting with oxygen forming metal oxides. But all these metals are not similar. So, different metals react with oxygen at a different speed. Some metals are reacting with oxygen very fastly, even when we are keeping in the open air. In air, oxygen is there. So, when we are keeping those metals in the open air, they will react with oxygen present in the atmosphere and forming its oxide. Such metals which are reacting very fastly with oxygen can be called as highly reactive metals. And examples for highly reactive metals are sodium, potassium, etc. When we are keeping sodium and potassium in open air, they will react with oxygen forming their oxide along with the production of heat. Due to that heat energy produced, they will catch fire. So a vigorous reaction is taking place between sodium or potassium with oxygen. Okay, so such metals can be called as highly reactive metals. So in order to prevent these reactions or this vigorous reaction of sodium or potassium with oxygen, we are keeping sodium and potassium in kerosene. Now there are some metals like aluminium, zinc, then iron, etc. They are not reacting with oxygen that much vigorously. They are not catching fire when we are keeping in the open air, but they are reacting with oxygen slowly and forming their oxide, and this oxide will form a coating over their surface. So when we are keeping a piece of aluminium or zinc or lead in open air, they are reacting with oxygen present in the atmosphere, forming their oxide. That oxide will form a coating over their surface. And this coating prevents the further oxidation of the metal. Once a coating is formed, that metal cannot react with oxygen present in the atmosphere. So that oxide coating is acting as a protective covering over the surface of these metals. This is naturally occurring when we are keeping these metals in an open air. Naturally the reaction will take place and an oxide layer will be formed over their surface. But by artificial method, we can increase the thickness of this oxide coating. By artificial method, we can increase the thickness of this oxide coating, and that process is known as anodizing. So anodizing means it is a process of increasing the thickness of oxide coating over aluminium metal. Okay. Now when we are coming to some other metals like iron and copper, they are also reacting with oxygen but very slowly. They are also reacting with oxygen, forming their oxide, but it is very slowly. In the case of iron, it will naturally react with oxygen, but in order to react with oxygen, copper need higher temperature. That means when we are heating copper in presence of air, then only it will react with oxygen and forming copper oxide. And that copper oxide is black in color and it will form a coating over copper surface. Okay. So iron can react with oxygen at normal temperature, but copper will react with oxygen at a higher temperature. That means we have to heat, then only copper will react with oxygen. Okay. Now there are some metals like gold, silver, platinum. We are using these metals, isn't it, in the form of ornaments. Are they reacting with oxygen? Any changes taking place to these metals? No. That means these metals are not reacting with oxygen at any temperature. Okay. So these metals, gold, silver and platinum, can be called as least reactive metals because they are reacting with oxygen very slowly. They are not at all reacting with oxygen. So they can be called as least reactive metals. Okay. So almost all metals are reacting with oxygen, forming their oxides, and the nature of these oxides are basic. And different metals are reacting with oxygen at different speeds. Clear that? Now about non-metals. Like metals, non-metals also reacting with oxygen and forming their oxide. For example, carbon. It is a non-metal reacting with oxygen, forming carbon dioxide. Like that sulfur. It's reacting with oxygen, forming sulfur dioxide. Nitrogen also reacting with oxygen, forming nitrogen oxides. Different nitrogen oxides are there. So like this, non-metals also reacting with oxygen, forming their oxides. But these oxides of carbon, nitrogen, sulfur, when they dissolving in water, they will form acids. The oxides of non-metals, when dissolving in water, form acids. So what will be the nature of these non-metal oxides? They are acidic in nature. Since they are acidic in nature, they can react with basic substances. So non-metal oxides are acidic in nature, and due to that acidic character, they can react with any basic substances. Okay. So this is about the reaction of non-metals with oxygen. Next we have to study about the second chemical properties of metals and non-metals, that is their reaction with the water. So as in the case of oxygen, in the case of water also, all metals are not reacting with the same speed. Some metals are reacting very fastly, some metals very slowly, and some metals with a medium speed. So already we have seen that sodium and potassium, they are reacting with oxygen very fastly and catches fire. since they are highly reactive metals. So like that with water also these metals are reacting very fastly. So when we are putting a small piece of sodium or potassium in cold water, they will react with water very vigorously and catches fire. Because during that reaction also heat energy is produced, and due to that heat that sodium and potassium catches fire. The sodium and potassium, they are reacting with water very fastly. But when they are reacting with water, first they are producing their oxides. These oxides are again reacting with the water and forming hydroxides. Along with this hydroxides, hydrogen gas also produced. So the equation we can write like this.
When metals react with water, it will form metal oxide first along with the hydrogen, and these metal oxides again react with water forming metal hydroxide. For example, when potassium reacts with water produces potassium hydroxide as the final product along with the hydrogen plus heat. Like that sodium also produces sodium hydroxide, hydrogen and heat.
When the metals like sodium or potassium are reacting with water, finally they will form sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide plus hydrogen. And along with this, a large amount of heat also produced. Due to that heat produced, the hydrogen produced there catches fire. Okay. Now when we are coming to calcium, it is also reacting with water, but that reaction is not that much vigorous. When we are putting a piece of calcium in water, it will react with water forming its hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. But the reaction is not that much fast.
The equation is A plus 2H2O gives AOH twice plus H2.
When calcium is reacting with water forming calcium hydroxide and hydrogen gas, this hydrogen gas formed there is sticking on the surface of the calcium metal we added. And as a result, calcium starts floating on the surface of water. Okay. Then when we are coming to the next elements like magnesium. Magnesium, if we are putting in cold water, nothing will happen. That means magnesium is not reacting with cold water. But when we are adding in hot water, magnesium will react and forming magnesium hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. So magnesium can react only with hot water. That means the reaction of magnesium with water is taking place at a slightly higher temperature. Okay, then when we are coming to the metals like aluminium, zinc and iron. When we are putting these metal into cold water, no reaction will take place. Like that, if you are putting in hot water, also no reaction will take place. But these metals will react with steam. Steam means water vapor. That is water at a higher temperature. At a higher temperature, water is converted into water vapor, isn't it? So these metals like aluminium, iron and zinc can react with the water at a higher temperature. At that temperature, liquid water is changing into water vapor. That is known as steam. Okay, so these metals are reacting only with the steam and they are producing their oxides along with hydrogen. Iron, when it is reacting with the steam, producing iron oxide and hydrogen. Like that, aluminium, when it is reacting with the steam, producing aluminium oxide and hydrogen. Okay.
The equation can be written like this: 2Al plus 3H2O gives Al2O3 plus 3H2, 3Fe plus 4H2O gives Fe3O4 plus 4H2.
When we are coming to the metals like gold, silver and platinum, we know that they are not reacting with the water at any condition. Okay, even when we are heating with water, they are not reacting with water. Okay, these metals, gold, silver and platinum, they are least reactive metals, so they are not reacting with water at any conditions. Okay. Now, the next reaction we have to study is the reaction of metals with acids. Already we have studied in the second lesson, isn't it? How these acids are reacting with metals. We know that when acids reacting with metals, they are producing salt plus hydrogen gas, isn't it? So we can tell that when metals are reacting with acids, they are producing corresponding salt plus hydrogen gas. But here also the rate of reaction or the speed of the reaction is depending upon the nature of the metal and the nature of the acid we are taking. Different metals are reacting with the different acids at different speeds. For example, if we are taking sodium and potassium, we know that they are highly reactive metals. They will react with all acids very fastly and forming their salt plus hydrogen gas.
Example, when sodium react with hydrochloric acid, we will get sodium chloride plus hydrogen. Like that, when potassium react with sulfuric acid, it will produce potassium sulfate plus hydrogen.
Like that, calcium also reacting with acids producing its salt plus hydrogen gas. For example, calcium plus HCl gives calcium chloride plus hydrogen. Okay. Then when we are coming to another elements like magnesium, aluminium, zinc and iron. If we are taking these metals in order to identify their reactivity, which is more reactive, we can take equal amounts of hydrochloric acid in different test tubes. And to one of the test tube we can add a piece of magnesium. Then to another test tube we can add a piece of aluminium. Then to the next test tube we can add a piece of zinc and a piece of iron. Okay. And to the next test tube we can add a piece of copper. Okay. So we can observe that the metals are reacting with hydrochloric acid producing their chlorides along with the hydrogen gas. So the formation of hydrogen gas is observed as bubbles. Bubbles will form that indicate the formation of hydrogen gas. Okay. So when we are observing these different test tubes, we can see that the test tube in which we put magnesium, that forms bubbles very fastly comparing to other test tubes. That means magnesium is reacting more fastly than other metals. We can tell that magnesium is more reactive than other metals like aluminium, zinc, iron and copper. Then the next test tube is aluminium. After magnesium, a reactive metal is aluminium. Then comes zinc, then comes iron, then lastly copper. In the case of copper, bubbles are not at all forming. It means that copper is not reacting with hydrochloric acid and not producing hydrogen gas. Okay. So this is the order of reactivity of different metals. First comes sodium and potassium. Then comes calcium, magnesium, aluminium, then zinc, iron, copper. Then when we are taking our metals like platinum, gold, silver, these metals are not at all reacting with any acids and not evolving hydrogen gas. So these elements, these metals, gold, silver, platinum are least reactive metals. Okay. Gold is not reacting with the pure acids, but when we are taking a mixture of acids, in that mixture gold will react, and that mixture is known as aqua regia. In aqua regia, concentrated hydrochloric acid and concentrated nitric acid are mixed in a ratio 3:1. In that mixture, this gold will react or gold will dissolve. Okay. So generally, when metals are reacting with acids, they are producing their salt plus hydrogen gas. Okay. If we are taking hydrochloric acid or if we are taking sulfuric acid or any other acid, hydrogen gas will be evolved. But if we are taking nitric acid, hydrogen gas is not evolved. When we are putting a piece of any metal in nitric acid, hydrogen gas is not produced. It is because nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent. That means it can donate oxygen atom. So hydrogen formed there is reacting with this oxygen donated by nitric acid and changing into water. So when we are putting metals in nitric acid, concentrated nitric acid, instead of hydrogen we will get water. It is because concentrated nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent. It is donating oxygen and the hydrogen produced there is combining with this oxygen and forming water. Okay. So most of the metals are not evolving, not producing hydrogen gas when reacted with nitric acid. But here also there are exceptional cases, that is magnesium and manganese. These two metals can produce hydrogen gas when they are reacting with the nitric acid. Okay. So from these reactions, that is the reaction with oxygen, reaction with the water, reaction with the acids, we have seen that some metals are reacting very fastly comparing with other metals, isn't it? So according to these reactions, the speed of the reaction, we can categorize the metals into highly reactive metals, medium reactive metals and least reactive metals. So these metals can be arranged in the order, in the decreasing order of their reactivity from top to bottom. That means highly reactive metals are placed at the top, then less reactive metals are placed below that. Like that we can arrange the metals, and that arrangement of metal is known as reactivity series or activity series. So reactivity series is defined as the arrangement of metals in a vertical column in the decreasing order of their reactivity. Now the next type of chemical property of metal is displacement reaction. That already we have studied in our first lesson, isn't it? That is, the most reactive metal is displacing a less reactive metal from its salt solution. That is known as displacement reaction. That already we have studied. For example, when we are putting iron in copper sulfate solution, iron is more reactive than copper. So iron will displace copper from copper sulfate, and as a result we will get iron sulfate plus copper. That type of reaction is known as displacement reaction. This is also one of the important chemical reactions of metals. Okay. Then lastly, one more chemical property is there that we can discuss in the next class. Okay.